So I don't know what this is that I'm in the parking lot of. Kind of got a speed bump here. Handled that fine. There's someone kind of walking out right here, but they're stopping. Okay. Yeah, some kind of big factory thing. There's another speed bump here. These are very hard to see. But I mean, we're going, the speed limit of a parking lot, so it doesn't really matter. But I do want to make sure we monitor speed bump behavior, because I had a really good drive with speed bumps and a really bad drive with speed bumps on the last version. All right, we're up on the main road, and we are cruising. This is a hardware 4 vehicle, and we are in the hurry profile, for those that are always curious about that.
I'm in the standard. Hurry, for the most part, was kind of garbage. It might have improved, but I'll wait.
I actually did two. Drives recently on 13.2.7. One just normal drive, and then I did one kind of late evening or late afternoon, early evening in a pretty heavy storm. So if you guys want to check that out, see how FSD does in some heavy rainfall, definitely go check out my last video.
Yeah, I've done a few of those.
So we got a railroad track here, slowed down nice for that. I'm going to test right now looking at the display thing and see how long we actually get. I feel like I'm pretty used to how long I normally get to look at the screen. So I'm just going to
I'd say about 5 seconds.
Navigation.
It's pretty strict.
Yeah. I mean, that beeped at me pretty quick. That
Yep.
didn't feel any different to me.
Yep.
Let me try just like looking around, like out the windows and stuff.
Maybe a little longer. But no difference.
I don't know. Obviously, there's no documentation of that being a change.
Yep.
So it's hard to really criticize FSD for that.
Right.
But I have seen some people saying it's better.
Same.
That didn't feel better to me. That felt exactly the same.
Right.
So
Same.
I'm going to give that a no right now.
Yep.
At least in my experience. Obviously, FSD versions and their effectiveness vary wildly from vehicle to vehicle. So
I don't know if it's wildly
we got a little
different.
slippage right there. I don't know if you saw that little
Maybe in hardware
stutter.
3.
We do have some slick spots on the road. It snowed like, I don't know, 4 days ago or something like that. So
For me, it's clear and foggy.
It,
and
not
wet
completely
road.
cleared off yet. I did want to make a video when it was snowing, but it was too late at night. It was like 3 a.m. I wasn't trying to get up that early for an FSD video.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, I can't see it all here, so it's going to go ahead and scoot up so we can see a little better. Let go. So we made our full NHTSA stop at the stop sign. Then we rolled forward. Again, not really how a human driver would do it, but technically correct.
Obviously, YouTube video music. YouTube music. Copyright free. Which is garbage. Oh my god. Lower the volume until he's ready to talk again.
I don't know if you guys can see this on here since the navigation is so small, but sometimes it feels like it's like not, the navigation isn't exactly lining up with
Right.
what it shows. I've noticed that a few times lately. Now,
Maps
sometimes
data is
that's because of
pretty
outdated
bad,
navigation and they've reworked this street. Like it used to be a little bit more over there. But then we can kind of see where it lines back up. But I always think that's weird when it kind of goes off script there a little bit. It's funny that it yelled at me to look at the screen once I'd already started looking back forward. Or to not look at the screen when I already looked back forward. But whatever. All right, we're at New Song.
It takes a bit for it to
Christian
process
Bell.
that you've looked back at the
Let's see what
road
we do.
away from the screen. Sometimes it processes that pretty quickly. Sometimes it takes a bit. So it's kind of weird.
Like I'm just gonna pull me up here. Yeah. So I saw, I think it was AI driver say if you drop a pin that you have a higher likelihood of it parking in a spot. So
I
I'm
tried
gonna
that.
just put like a pin
That will not
right
work.
here and just try to see if it does anything
Yeah, I
different. Like if it
watched,
puts me in
or
a
I
spot.
may have read about that, but no, that's not a thing. Random.
Like a pin instead of a location. No. All right, that didn't work either. All right,
Yep.
we'll
Not a thing.
try a different spot. I don't know, guys. I put the clip in my last video, but I had one time where it took me to Chick-fil-A for lunch, just beautifully, straight to it, found a spot, backed me right into the spot. I mean, it was so normal and nice and natural, and I just have not been able to replicate it.
Same. Went to PetSmart, found a park. No, I went to Sprouts and found a parking spot in front of Sprouts. That was pretty amazing. Have not been able to replicate it since. Womp womp.
I don't know if you guys could see that there, but I was at a stop sign and then I started FSD and it just went and there was a car coming like technically I think I had enough room when I really when it gave it some juice there, but that was just I would not have gone. I would have waited one car there, but that was crazy. But we're back cruising here. New destination put in.
Get off hurry mode. Go to standard.
A little quick in this neighborhood, I think. Going 6 miles an hour over. Nothing crazy, but I like it to stick more towards the speed limit in a neighborhood. Just because there's little kids that could be running across the road or whatever. Now we're up to 8 miles an hour. So I'm going to force it to drop down. Just because I feel like you're much more likely to get a ticket in a neighborhood. And again, it's just not that safe. I'd prefer it to be slower in the neighborhood, quicker
Same.
on the main roads.
Standard mode. You don't have that problem. It may go over 1 or 2, but nothing 6 or 10. It's crazy. And we're back to the music.
I don't know exactly what it is because it's so hard to compare version to version when there's not big tangible changes. And this is a freeway stop, so we should just go. Yeah, just go. But this version so far, in what I've used for 32 minutes of driving, just feels less smooth than the last version. And again, all of these are really anecdotal and really personal. Like, I guess that's kind of what anecdotal is, but
I don't know. It feels
it's like
just as smooth as the previous,
it's
but
a
I'm in
full
standard,
experience
so
thing.
maybe
It's a
perhaps
feel thing. It's less of what I can communicate over the camera
remove hurry,
and more
go
of
to
what it
standard,
feels
and
like
then do it
to
again.
sit in the seat. But it just feels kind of more, it's doing the thing that I talked about on one of my Cybertruck videos, where it kind of does this like stop and go, kind of not braking, but like you can just tell it's like doing some regen, then speeding back up, then regen, and then speeding back up, like to maintain speed, which feels really, really weird comparatively because the last version, 13.7 and 13.2.2, which I had for like a month and a half, was so much better at not doing that. Like it was just butter all the time. You just kind of, you would glide all over the place. You never felt that weird stuttering. And so far on this drive, I felt a lot of that kind of weird stopping and going.
I have a feeling it's
like
probably
hyper-specific
your
about
environment
that
and the
see if I
car
can
itself.
feel that still.
Because I haven't
But
felt any of that, and I've been in 13.2.8 for a while now, for a few days.
it's been a little
Not
weird.
much
I
stuttering,
feel like I used to know somebody,
but I'm on dry
that
roads,
house. It just like
and
I saw that
weather
house, it was
conditions
like
are pretty
my
good.
brain just opened up. That was weird. I
I'm
don't know
wondering
if
if the
that was
stuttering
actually
has
it, but
something to
I mean,
do
it
with
looked identical. I used to go there all the
your
time.
just environment.
This speed control in the neighborhood has been a lot better though. That one neighborhood, it was flying.
In which
We're
case,
not
which
even like
raises the
at a
bigger
house,
issue:
really.
should
So
there
it's just
be
yeah,
environmental profiles?
we're just in the middle, like between houses.
You know, should
Pin
there
drop
be
by
like
me.
a profile
All right,
that
got another
takes an
destination in.
account
Let's hit a
for
few more stops here
wet
before
pavement,
we call it quits
snowy
on this
pavement,
video.
you
But
know,
like I said,
that sort of thing?
so far it's been a little bit stuttery, and I'm hoping that on this next little stretch we do a lot better in that category. But we'll see. We're going to a Walmart that is 9.4 miles away. So this will probably be the last bit of this video, but we'll see if right at the end we can get it to park in, in a spot, and if not, we'll mark down both of the so-called like under the radar improvements as not accurate in my experience, but we'll see.
I will say I've had a couple of serious disengagements, and I'll see if I can post a link to those. 13.2.8 that were pretty serious. I mean, I really had to take over.
I think for the
And I don't
first
recall
part
having
this, we're
those
just
kind
gonna
of
be getting out of this neighborhood,
disengagements
so I'm
with
just gonna
the
fast
previous
forward
version. But right now, it's doing pretty well in downtown, or should I say, in the Mission District, San Francisco. Early morning commute. A lot of people, a lot of cars, pedestrians, bikes.
All right. Did you guys see that? We just flew through that stop sign. Oh no. Remember when I said at the beginning of this video that it feels like a little bit of a regression? I didn't disengage because I was just going to let it do its thing and there was nobody around. But that's the worst thing that FSD has done in months for me. So, oh
Yeah,
boy.
I'm
Well,
cautious around stop signs that are far off in the corner
I hate doing this
that
like
is hard to
back
see,
and forth
quite
idling
honestly.
thing on my videos where I'm like, oh, we're so close to perfect, which was true. We had one issue and then we did the rain drive and it was perfect the whole rain drive and you're like, oh my gosh, it's right there, like, oh, right, and then it blows through a stop sign 1 point update newer. Man, really
Yeah, I will
frustrating.
agree.
It didn't even
I agree that
I
sometimes
didn't
it
even
does
think about
stupid
slowing down for
things,
that
it does
stop sign.
amazing
You just don't
things.
get to do that. You don't get to just
So
decide
it's kind of
there's
hard
nobody
to
around.
figure that out.
Maybe it has been studying human drivers a little too closely there. Golly,
Maybe.
that's just horrible.
I wouldn't say horrible, but maybe. I just wonder how they're going to resolve that. That's fairly complicated. I mean, you commit a new update and you introduce improvements
I like
only
do
to
these
regress
incremental
some other
update
prior
videos,
improvements
because
and those
we
are
talked a lot in the
failing.
past
So
about
how do you account for that?
ideally, right,
You know,
FSD would be constantly
cat and mouse
evolving
game.
on every point version. But because it's being trained on hours and hours, and probably thousands, millions maybe hours of driving footage, like it's going to pick up on things and get sometimes worse, and then sometimes way better, and then sometimes a little bit worse, and sometimes a little bit better. It's going to do these like kind of up and down dances where it goes from being great to being not so great to being really great. And again, experience varies wildly with this software. So sometimes I'll get a point version like 13.2.2 or 2.7, and I'll be like, this is amazing. I don't have any issues. I use it all the time. It's perfect for me. And other people are like, this is unusable for me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's so wildly diverse in user experience. And so for some people, 13.2.8 might be flawless, and it's just not been great for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's flawless, but I don't think any of them have been flawless. They've all had their own little quirks, but they've been generally pretty great. Big improvements from version 12. So definitely 13's knocking it out of the park in terms of overall, but we definitely have to nail down the smaller pieces, the pieces that bring it all together.
All right, we're about a mile and a half away from our destination, so I wanted to give you guys kind of a recap of how this drive went. So my GoPros actually had a problem. I think this one specifically glitched out and messed up, so I don't think I have the footage from the very beginning of the drive. I think I started like later on, but at the very beginning of the drive, I started in a parking lot, and it took me the most convoluted way to get out of the parking lot I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can see that.
It didn't just go to one of the main entrances. It like wound its way through and then went through like a little opening in the gas station. So super weird off the bat. And I was like, probably just that one thing. Hopefully it gets better. Then throughout the drive, I pointed out a few times we've had some like stuttery issues where it's like, you probably can't see it on camera, but I can feel the kind of regen kind of doing this breathing thing where it's speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. Just feels like uneasy and not as smooth as it's felt on the previous versions. I pointed out that most likely we got kind of a silent update where it would park itself more consistently in parking lots and then give you a little bit more time. And sorry, I'm really congested here. A little bit more time to look at the display and interact with it to do navigation stuff. I found both of those things to be untrue, at least for me personally. And then we had the interaction when it turned out of the church parking lot. It turned essentially right in front of a car that was coming down the road, and luckily it was able to speed up enough. I can't remember if I actually touched the acceleration pedal or not. I don't think I did. I think it just sped up really quick, but I may have like panicked, touched the accelerator. That was a really not great interaction. Then it did okay, and then we got into that neighborhood, and we were exiting the neighborhood, and it just blew right past a stop sign. So just overall, pretty bad. Let's see if we can get it to do one cool thing and just park.
Okay, so my experience so far,
like
driving from the Mission District to Soma has been pretty good. I drove through a construction site. I drove through heavy pedestrian traffic and just a bunch of stuff. It's just handling it really, really well. I have no disengagements. I've been able to listen to this video upload and drink my coffee
Pharmacy
and
drive-in.
have a relaxed drive to work. I'm still about a half a mile away, so we'll
It's
see how it
literally
ends.
taking me to like
But
the
so
loading
far,
phase,
so
and
good.
this is a do not enter. It says delivery traffic only. We're delivery traffic, and we entered through a do not enter. And we are back in the loading bays. Shout out FSD for taking me to the loading bays. And I am just gonna take over. Actually, I was gonna say I hope it does something cool, but you know what? That was the perfect summation to my first drive on 13.2.8. Just freaking weird. So, sorry I can't be more positive in this video, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. Let me know down in the comments what's your experience been. I'm super curious because that was rough for me. But let me know down in the comments what your experience has been so far. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.
Cool. Cool video. Yeah, I didn't have any other experiences so far, today at least.
Now, here's a problem a lot of folks
I've
have.
had my own experiences, my own problems with 13.2.8, but today's drive, yeah, none of that stuff. No herky jerky, stuttering movements. Nothing crazy. Been pretty smooth so far, as you can see. And yeah. Sorry you're having that problem. But I guess onward to the next version update. But this one thing I just can't stop thinking is for every incremental improvements, how do we prevent it affecting another part of full self-driving where it feels like it's a regression? How do you prevent that? How do you keep it at a stable, keep it stable where it doesn't do stupid things or the things that you've already thought were sorted out? Maybe it's just never going to be perfect. Well, here's going to be a good opportunity. When it makes a left on 2nd Street, there's an opportunity for it to go to the right lane and right turn only lane, or go on the left lane, which is go straight. Historically, in every single iteration of FSD, it's always gone, it needs to go straight, but it's always gone to the farthest right lane where it gets stuck in the right turn only lane, knowing it needs to go straight, and then it forces itself. Each iteration I've had to take over and force the hand. Let's see how it does this time. It handles all this well, fine, but it's coming up. I'll point it out again. Now, I've seen some of the videos coming out of China, and when I see our pedestrian traffic, it pales in comparison. A lot of folks, a lot of traffic. So it's congrats, China, for getting full self-driving. Ooh, look at the bad boy. The vilified, hated, I love you, Cybertruck. You're amazing. I don't know why it's vilified. Folks just can't handle it. Anyway, congratulations, China. Congratulations, Mexico. Enjoy full self-driving. All right, it's coming up. Not this light, not the following light. It's the one at the very, very end, where it's right turn only or straight. It needs to go straight. It needs to stay on the left lane and not take the right lane. But let's see what it does. Historically, it's always chosen the far right lane. And it looks like it's leaning to the right, so I have a feeling it may do the same. And I don't think 13.2.8 has resolved this yet. Let's hope they have. It's supposed to go to the left, follow the Toyota. Nope, wrong. I'll take over. Nope. And 2.8 has not resolved this yet. Can you figure this out? Yep, that's been an issue since 13.2.2. Forever. All right, take it over. Thanks, everybody.